Okay.
Hi, my name is Hilda Ysusi, and I am the corporate chef and culinary director for Foxtrot. And today I'm going to prepare for you my favorite dish of all times, which is salmon al pastor over a burnt tortilla hummus with some cilantro tabbouleh on top and some grilled pineapples. This dish is very, very close to my heart because it draws inspiration from a childhood memory. And I kind of like wanted to make it very fancy and restaurant worthy from when I opened my restaurant. And I developed this dish, and it was actually the best-selling dish of the restaurant, so I was very happy about that. So I'm gonna explain to you how it's made, right? So for the first thing we're gonna do is the al pastor sauce. I have some chipotle purees here, and then some of my al pastor seasoning. This is a combination of dried chilies and spices, and then the secret ingredient is pineapple suco. So pineapple suco is like the powder you use to make like cheap pineapple flavored water, but it works like marbles on this mix. So same thing, I use this seasoning to season my salmon, right? I did this since yesterday because I want all the flavor to permeate through all the flesh, so we can have a very, very tasty product, right? So we're gonna grill that later. I just wanna make sure that I marinate my pineapples right away. So I have these, you know, it's like a paste, and then I'm gonna put it here in a bowl, and I'm going to mix it with pineapple juice. So you can make fresh pineapple juice if you wanna make these, you know, extra fancy, but you can also use canned juice. So I will mix these, and you will see that it will have the consistency of like a dressing. So this one is ready, and then I'm just gonna cut my pineapple so we can marinate it while we do the rest of the products. Usually I like to marinate these in advance, but today I just wanted to show you how to make it from scratch, so we're just gonna do it. So the reason I chose to make this dish is because I'm born and raised in Mexico City. I left for culinary college to CIA in New York when I was 19, but my passion from cooking started since I was very young, and my grandma is my main inspiration for my cooking and for who I am today. It's not just someone that I truly admired as a person, but also as a cook, right? And every time I would come back from college, or every time like I will go see her at her house, she would prepare for me tacos al pastor, which is my favorite dish of all time. I mean, I know I'm biased because I'm Mexican, but I think that Mexican food is the best food in the world. Although nowadays I think more than one person agrees with me, and not only Mexicans, so I think we're doing something good there. So this is sort of like the same flavors, but kind of like with a more high-end presentation, right? So you have your salmon, and then you have the hummus, and then this pineapple is not the best I've seen in a while, but we don't need that much, so we'll set it to the side. So the burnt tortilla hummus is also one of my favorite parts because you get all the flavors of the taco in this dish, right? You're getting a protein, which in this case is the salmon, which is marinated in the al pastor. We're gonna be getting the pineapples here grilled and marinated with this al pastor seasoning. And then we're gonna be getting our cilantro on cilantro tabbouleh, right? So to me, and the way that I like to cook is usually always trying to do fusion foods, right? Mediterranean food, Mexican food, and Asian foods are my favorite foods. There's nothing Asian here, that was just a food for thought. So this is kind of like a mix of a Mexican and a Mediterranean dish, right? So usually, like tabbouleh, like we all know, it's made with parsley and sometimes mint. But for this, in this case, I'm strictly going to use cilantro, right? So a very common and straightforward tabbouleh, I have your bulgur wheat, Then I have the cilantro, which is our different element here. Then we have red onion, we have diced tomato, we have cucumber, and then I'm gonna add olive oil, a lot of lime juice because I love lime juice and acidity, and I think that that gets a very good contrast with the hummus, which it has like more depth of flavor. And then I'm gonna add salt here, a good amount of salt, and that's it, right? We're just gonna mix these together. This is a dish that I truly like I mentioned before, and it's also very easy to put together at home. Even like I used to do it all the time even though I did it at the restaurant, I do it all the time for my friends. During the pandemic that I taught all my friends how to cook, which I think it was a situation that happened to all the chefs out there during the pandemic. We were personal chefs of all our friends. And this is the dish that I taught all my friends that they're still doing till this day, and it became sort of like their signature dish as well, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and try this. This is very good. I'm just gonna add a little bit more salt. And I'm just gonna add a touch of cumin. Same thing with the pineapple. This is always better if we let it sit overnight. But again, I just wanted to make it for you all today, so we're just going to do it right now. So the other thing we need to do is the hummus and the salmon. I'm gonna put the salmon on the grill, so that way that starts cooking while I do the hummus. I like to put it on the grill because it gives it a very charred flavor, and like if you haven't seen so far, the kind of like the main flavor profile of the dish, it's acidity, it's charred, it's all these flavors that like even though you think they don't go together, once you try them, you also, even though if you haven't grown up eating al pastor tacos, I mean, when I was at the restaurant, one of my favorite things was that people would tell me like, oh my God, this reminds me so much of an al pastor taco, right? Even people who hadn't even been to Mexico before. And to me, that was kind of like the intention behind the dish, right? With my cooking, I always like to choose something that people are very attached to, or like they think that it's something very common, but give it a twist, right? Because people aren't really, sometimes they're not really open to trying new things, and I think that that's a good and sneaky way to kind of like have people try different things. Like we're selling them a hummus. Hummus is something that people love and they buy at the grocery store all the time. But like I'm pretty sure that most of our, most of the people have never tried a burnt tortilla hummus and think that it's something crazy. And like these are the burnt tortillas. So when I say burn, I truly mean burn, right? So it's something that it works and it makes sense. So let's go ahead and start our hummus. So it's gonna be very basic hummus, just your garbanzos, your tahini. We're gonna have also olive oil. We're gonna do salt. We're gonna do lime juice. We're gonna do garlic, obviously, pretty heavy on the garlic. And then we're gonna do a touch of cumin, right? Also not forgetting that we have our salmon on the grill. And then I'm going to add 3 of these tortillas, right? It's pretty much like ashes to this point, and it's very easy to do. You just have to put them in the grill. I did them ahead of time because they need to be cold while we blend them. Just keep an eye on them, because if you leave them too much, like I did with this one, it already started turning into ashes and it completely disappeared. Sometimes one time I forgot them there. When I came back, there was nothing left in the grill and I had to start over again, right? So then we're gonna go ahead and also add a little bit of water. With this hummus, since it has the tortilla, I like to always leave it a little bit on the runny side, because the starch in the tortilla is gonna make it seize, right? So we're gonna go ahead and blend these. gonna go ahead and turn my salmon. And we want a nice char on the salmon. Usually I like to cook it up to medium, but my beautiful cameraman today wants it well done, and this is his dinner, so this is what we're gonna do today, right? But you can cook the salmon however you want. So now we have the hummus. I'm gonna go ahead and try it. So good. So good. It's something that honestly, like every time I try it, it's so simple, but like it's one of those things that like cooking is simple, right? It's so simple. You don't need fancy ingredients. You don't need, you know, anything extraordinary. You just need balance, right? To me, acid and fat and all those things are obviously the key, and not only to me, to everybody. So we're gonna go ahead and start plating. So the first thing we're going to do is put some of the hummus in our plate. I like to do it all around to make sure that we have this delicious flavor. Then we're gonna put our salmon. Then we're gonna do the pineapple to get this beautiful color. Then we're gonna put a good hefty amount of our tabbouleh. And if you want to make it spicy, you can add a little bit of the al pastor sauce where you marinated the pineapples around it, right? So this is it. Just a very different dish, but also with very common ingredients that people are familiarized with. But every time, once you have it and once you see it, I think you won't be able to eat regular hummus again.